Hello, Joe.
Hi, Chandra. So
Welcome.
good to see you
Thank
again.
you, thank you, thank you.
Your
Hello,
your your
friends. Whoever
comments and
watched,
go ahead,
whoever
go ahead.
watching this show, Joe is one of my best big brothers, and then professional friend and a mentor. And I am very fortunate to have good interactions with him over Facebook, and then we also had calls. S- I invite eh, Joe to the Expert Talks show to share his vast 50 years of experience in as easy as possible so that you can pick up the real nitty-gritties of sales. How a salesperson should be, how to build a sales team, how to you will understand exactly the behind the scenes and the nuts and bolts of campaigning, call center campaigning sales through the Joe's rich experience. And Joe has been handling so many projects in the world of sales. And I really humbled to have this opportunity to have a conversation with Joe. Thank you, Joe, for your time. I really appreciate with a short notice you could able to make this happen. So how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Every time I see you, I smile. I just haven't seen you for a couple of months, and I remember our first conversation was 2 hours. But don't worry, folks, we'll keep it shorter tonight. We don't want to lose any of you, and I want to try to get as much information out as I can. And maybe you find one little tiny nugget that you can use, and go ahead and use it. And that's what it's all about. That's what Chandra is all about. Not everything is money, not everything is charging people. And, both Chandra and I give a lot to this community, and that's why I'm here tonight. I just want to give.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that energy. So, Joe, let me know what is your background, how you started, and then what kind of industries that you worked for, and then what kind of companies, any bigger companies you worked, definitely I know. And how many countries, people that you managed, whether you come from the offline world to online world and could able to pace according to the changes happening in the world of sales. B2B, B2C, B2CH, distribution, campaigning, managing teams remotely, managing teams door to door, whatever. So the entire world in a nutshell, how do you make it crisp and share that 50 years of experience?
All
Yeah,
righty. And I'll try to be as succinct as possible. As you can imagine, 50 years, I've done a thing or two, right? So
yeah.
I started when I was 8 years old. My
Oh,
daddy dressed me up in a little suit, and I would go trade rare coins to coin shops. Okay.
oh,
Back
daddy.
then,
Thanks to
the
daddy.
the coins were $100 to $300, and I would go to coin shows, and my dad would sit in the back and watch me in action, right? And
Okay.
that's when I started developing an ego because I was successful. Fortunately, I shed the ego, I hope, 20 years ago. But it was very fulfilling to make
Mm-hmm.
that type of money as a little kid. And then I went into selling newspapers by my mid-teens. I owned a couple of pawn shops, and it really enhanced my negotiating skills. By the time I was 19, I worked for a company called John Hancock Mutual Life. I was life insurance
Okay.
licensed for the first time. It happened three
Okay.
times in my career. Okay. So
Okay.
that was the first time. And out of 7,200 reps, man, it sounds like I'm bragging, but I was number two out of 7,200 reps. I would knock on
Wow.
trailer park doors in the military communities because John Hancock serviced the military market at that point.
Mm.
So from there, I got out of the insurance business, got into the furniture business. When I graduated from college, I got into the advertising business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I got into the advertising business, and in my college major, bachelor in science with a focus in advertising and marketing. And I got to confess, I don't want to dissuade anybody from going to college, but I didn't really learn a lot there. I
Mm.
had a lot of fun and made a lot of friends, but I think people are waking up to this. But please, just erase this part. You want to go to college? it's good to have those initials, that degree,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it's good. So there was a TV show back then called Bewitched, where the
Mm,
star of the show wiggled her nose, and she was a good witch and she would make things happen. Well, her husband was an
hmm.
advertising executive, Darren Stevens. So I said, that's what I want to do. I want to go into
Okay,
advertising. So my first job was for a company called ADVO Systems,
okay.
ADVO. And
So up to
ADVO
your,
was,
sorry to interrupt, up to your graduation and then up to your advertisement industry, where were you in this world? In US, any
oh
particular
yeah,
city?
US. I grew up in Florida. I came from
Florida.
Cuba.
Okay,
Yeah, I came from
okay.
Cuba when I was 3 years old. We had to flee communism. All right. I'm
Ah,
so
okay.
grateful to be in this country, you know.
Mm.
Especially now there's a new enthusiasm
Yeah,
because of what we expect in the next
right,
60 days, you know.
right.
And so anyways, yeah, and it was Florida, and it was Jacksonville, Florida. Okay.
Yeah, okay,
Uh,
okay.
I now live in Silver Springs at the edge of a forest looking at
Okay,
a lake from my office, which brings me a lot of peace. But yeah,
right.
it is Florida. So I got into advertising and I worked for Advo System, and it was the biggest client of the US Post Office. So that was
Mm,
B2B. I would sell
mm,
advertising to major car dealerships, small businesses, idea people, you name it.
mm,
But I got out, I did it for 3 years, but I got out of it, you know, lots of
mm.
broken promises, lots of commissions not paid, just a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
stuff that I don't care what the money is, I care what the principle is. And
Mm.
if I don't like it, I leave
You just
and I
say
go
bye-bye.
to yeah, go to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I'm making a million. I actually left something that I made $1 million 1 year. But principle is the most important. So after advertising, I started selling postal meters, Pitney Bowes for a company called Hassler. And it was, knocking on business doors or whatever. But I was a good salesman, but I was clumsy and I sucked in terms
Mm,
of like the product demos. I couldn't do them
mm.
right. I was wheeling these machines around, they were falling apart. I said, nah, this isn't good for me. And then I went back to insurance and I sold insurance to small businesses, health insurance. But when I discovered that eh, the policies didn't really cover in
Mm,
actuality what the people were expecting, I left
mm,
that industry. So
mm.
so I've had a lot of varied jobs, but that led me to my best gig ever. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So I was answering. Nowadays, hardly anybody reads the newspaper. But back then, you
Mm.
pull out the newspaper on Sunday, you circle in the yellow marker who you
Yeah,
want to call, and then you
right,
call.
right.
So I applied to a company called Shearson Lehman Brothers. They were in the Fortune 100 companies in the United States, a stock brokerage
Yeah,
company. And
yeah.
out of 108 applications, they chose two to come on board, me and another guy. Okay.
Mm,
We went through training, and I was at the top of the training in three categories: assets
mm.
under management, revenue, and then I think number of dials or whatever. We would get a phone book and dial 400 dials a day. It was like insane. A lot of these
Yeah.
remote closer ads say, yeah, you got to dial 100. We would dial 400, you know? So I got lucky in that field. I started as an options trader, not on Wall Street, but out of
Mm,
Jacksonville.
mm,
And I had like 8 clients. And all these
mm.
guys had something in common. They had a pencil in their ear and a stock section in their hand.
Right.
And they came to me for advice, and I made them a lot of money and tried to, until they got greedy. I made them a lot of money in terms of options trading. But then
Okay.
the brokerage distributed a memorandum that said, what does it say? It
Mm-hmm.
says something like, um, you know, if you Allstate agents, which was one of
Mm-hmm.
the biggest insurance companies here, Do you know that they have ESOPs, employee stock ownership plans,
Mm-hmm.
and that uh, they're eligible for withdrawal? And I was a busy guy. I took the paper and threw it in the trash can. When I was about to leave work, I said, well, wait a minute. And I went back and I picked up that little piece of paper and I said, I can do stuff with this because if they can withdraw, then they can transfer to an IRA. I just got to get
Mm-hmm.
the IRS to agree. So I lived at the IRS for 2 weeks with a
Okay.
pencil and a little yellow pad. Finally, they approved the process and I was off to the races and I got invited to be the keynote speaker in Las Vegas at the
Oh.
old Aladdin Hotel on this process. And I thought it was
Okay.
good. I knew it was good, but I got a standing O, which was great. I never had a standing ovation, you know. So then after that, I went back to my room. My manager says, "You got to come back. You're creating a big ripple in this industry and everything." I go, "No, I'm going to stay here. It's Las Vegas and everything." But anyways, I went back and then I assembled a small team of 5 people. That team grew. I went to another brokerage because we were like baseball players. You know, they would give us upfront bonuses in the 90s for our
Mm.
book of business. So I went to my second brokerage, which was Dean Witter. Okay, that was a Fortune 50 company. So I
Mm.
took my 5 people, took them over to
Mm-hmm.
Dean Witter, and expanded to the team of 20. Long story short, in three
Mm.
years, we were managing $400 million in assets.
Oh my
And we're
God.
generating, yeah, that's $500 million. One of the biggest books of all time. And then what is it? We're generating about $4 million in revenue every year.
Mm. Mm.
I can't tell you it was smooth because it was cutting across the grain, but you know what? In the financial curriculums in the US schools now, they call what I did in-service distribution. They coined a term for it, and I was the first team to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways,
Oh.
after that, lots of family tragedies. This is around the year 2000, lots of them in a row. And I'm only
Mm.
human. It affected me emotionally.
Mm.
But when I got over that, I went into consulting work for solar companies, gas stations, anybody that would give me a job, you know, because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to keep on working. And then that led me about 6 or 7 years ago to the call center world. Okay.
Mm.
I took it as a job because I thought I would be good on the phone just as a personal producer. But then that led into management, that led into the buying of call centers, and that led to all the wonderful experiences and people that I met in the call
Oh.
center business, especially the Philippine community.
Starting from
And
2000.
what's that?
Starting from the year 2000.
Well, no. In the 2000, I did, you know, a lot of consulting work for different industries, but starting around 2017, I would say,
Mm.
I got into the
2017.
call center
Okay.
business. So it's
Okay.
about 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that leads
And
us to tonight.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, this is not an easy experience. It is like a crazy industries, number of industries, number of roles, number of companies, and then big numbers having been contributed to Fortune 500 companies and all. In the entire totality of your experience, what do you think are the three most important characteristics a salesperson should have?
Well, I don't know if this is popular, and I don't know if I'm going to rank it in priority,
But
but
based
I
on your
think number
experience.
Well, the first characteristic is being able to take personal responsibility for one's actions,
Wow,
you know?
exactly.
Because when you make a phone call, after you do that phone call, you shouldn't immediately dial the next one. You should revisit that phone call and think of
Mm,
what you did not right.
mm,
But if you have an ego and you don't take personal responsibility, that step will never come into place. So I
yeah.
think that is very important.
Mm,
I think there's a lot of good qualities here. Um, I would say number two is authenticity.
mm,
Be yourself. Don't sound like you're reading off a script,
mm,
you know? Feel free
mm,
to go off the script, be a human being, be kind and compassionate. The best salespeople out there have a customer service heart. If you
mm,
don't have a customer service heart and you're just in it for monetary gain and you're believing everything some of these gurus, not you, because your stuff is good. I'm talking about the canned, let me find a nice word, misinformation that's out there,
mm, mm,
without these gurus examining their own process. I know sales has evolved. I know I'm
mm,
an older guy now. I know that we're selling to a new audience, but number two
mm.
would be totally authentic in
Authentic,
addition to taking personal
personal responsible.
responsibility.
Yeah.
I think that sales is 90% authenticity with a customer
Mm,
service heart and 10% technique. And I
yeah.
know this video is going to shock all your viewers. Not all your
Mm,
viewers. If they listen to you and what you're saying, they will know
exactly.
that we're sort of kindred spirits here. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff out there that's being sold that technique conquers everything, and that's the least of it. Sales is a transference of emotion, like Zig
Mm,
Ziglar used to say. Okay,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what it's all about. And then number three, I think it would be organization. You know, having a clean office, having a good calendar, knowing the tech tools that are around, and also and I guess we go into number four, the ability to ask closing questions, but not in a way, do you want to buy it
Mm,
or not even in a fancy way.
mm,
Remember, we're selling to human beings. How do you feel about all this? You know,
mm,
what is the major reason that you don't want to proceed today? Please tell
mm.
me. We may never talk again. It helps me.
Yeah.
It helps me with my career. I tell them, you know,
Yeah.
let's get right down to it. Most of the time it's price,
Mm,
but sometimes when they say price, there's a hidden objection
mm,
that you
mm,
didn't get to. So I was trained in the PSS method, professional. Oh, I even forget what is professional PSS. I don't know what the second S, but the third S is sales. It's the old Xerox course. Xerox
mm,
was the most successful sales organization in the world for 20
mm,
years in
mm.
business machines. So I
Yeah.
later took that course and Prudential tapped me to teach it and they rebranded it and they called it Pyramid. And then I
Mm,
traveled around the country teaching $200,000 a year income people how to go to a million using these sales techniques. And it is very simple. It makes a lot of sense. And I've seen a lot of this on YouTube now or whatever. But
yeah.
what you do, the gist of it is, are you are you telling or asking?
Mm,
If you're telling, it starts the whole sales process on a wrong note because these are your words. This is your thought as to
mm.
why they should buy your product.
That's
Okay?
the
That
core of
doesn't work.
professional selling skills, PSS
Yeah,
method.
that yeah, the PSS is not telling them what to
Mm,
do. It's
yeah.
asking them questions. If you could design the perfect widget, what would it
Mm,
have in your Medicare plan? If you could
mm.
design the perfect plan, what benefits would it include? Okay. You
They
listen to
will
what
tell instead
they
of
say.
we. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
They
yes.
own it. They
So,
own it.
yeah, let's say we were selling a pencil, right?
Yeah.
And then, what are the top three attributes that you look for in a pencil? Well, I want a large eraser head because I do a lot of erasing, I do a lot of sketching. I want pencils that are black, and then
Mm,
I want pencils whose lead doesn't crack because I get frustrated and I snap these pencils. Whatever crazy thing they say, right?
mm,
So you summarize. Okay, let me get this straight. You want crack-proof pencils that have large eraser heads and so on and so forth. Is there anything else that you would like to add to that? Because if you don't ask that question, then there's
yeah.
a hidden objection. You got to get that hidden objection out. Okay.
Right.
Is there
Right.
anything else? Yeah, I want to also be able to buy them in packs of 12. Okay, then you summarize it. Each time you summarize, okay, packs of 12, large eraser head, crack proof, and they have to be in black. Okay, is there anything else? You do that till they run out of objections. So they have designed the perfect product in their head, not from
Yeah.
what you're telling them. And then when
Mm,
you get them to that point, then you say, you know what? I think I can do that. Can you hold on a second? That's a little bit of a takeaway close. You keep them in a little bit of a suspense, and it's not a manipulation. It's just a something that you have to include so they can digest what they just said. And
mm,
then, is there any reason then that you wouldn't proceed today? Still, you may have
mm.
a little hidden objection, but you've covered all the major ones because they cannot object to
Yeah.
what they said. And that's the method that I've used pretty much
That's
all my
powerful.
life. So I think we
So
went into 3 or 4 things, but anyways.
yeah, yeah. This is so powerful. If I can say, if I put into my words, the things that you shared right now, personal responsibility, authenticity with a focus on customer service instead of just pushing a product or sales, and then being organized with person himself and then the totality of the organization, and using these sales skills from the professional selling uh, skills method by Xerox.
Hmm.
This part of this video itself is a mini sales course
Well,
that I
good.
can. This part itself is a mini sales course. If people really can learn from and absorb and take action on it. Awesome. This is wonderful, Joe.
Uh,
Thank you so
and I
much.
just hope it, thank you. And I just hope it makes sense. I think if they
Yeah.
view this section of it and people or reps are logic and pragmatic, you know,
Yeah.
they go through and if it makes sense to them and then they catch the fever, there's
Mm.
no stopping them. There's no stopping. I want to
When
add
they
one more thing.
apply, things will just turn around. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Awesome.
and I want to add one more thing on when because you asked the top attributes of a salesperson, and this is going to be hugely unpopular, and I hope everybody doesn't cut off the YouTube after I say this, but respectfully, a
Mm.
lot of people don't belong in sales.
Mm.
Okay, now there used to be a question going around: Are good sales people made, or are they
Mm.
born? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. In other words, do they have sales aptitude when they exit the womb or not? Is it
Mm.
genetic or
Mm.
not? So
Mm.
in the past 10 years, they've been doing some studies, and surprisingly so, it's a lot genetic. It's a lot. My dad was an excellent salesman, for instance.
Mm.
Now, if you don't have the genetics and you still want to succeed in sales, you will. You will through perseverance. You will by being coachable. You will by taking personal responsibility. And you will by being authentic. And you know
Mm.
what? At my age, I got to confess to you, I don't think I have any sales technique. I
Mm.
just get on the phone and talk and
Mm.
try to help people.
Yeah.
But maybe I do have sales technique because it's been ingrained in me all these years. So for those that don't have sales aptitude, if you really want this, you can do it. And if you fail, it's because you didn't really want it bad enough. And that
Bah.
goes the same for people with sales aptitude.
Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. That summarizes everything. So,
Yeah.
uh, you mentioned the powerful characteristics and then the way the successful sales people can be, and then um, uh, when you are managing the team of people, salespeople,
Uh-huh.
being a sales manager, what are the core things a sales manager should have in this age of era of customers having their journey in marketing a lot. And then people have mobile smartphones, internet, and they know more than if we are in the industry for 20 years. They just search for 20 minutes, but still can be able to manage by picking up the or industry terminology and talk to just like your competitor, being a customer, more aware customer, more demanding customer, and then
Mm-hmm.
more competition. In this
Mm-hmm.
scenario of people having their buyer's journey in the marketing stage and coming to you for the sales conversations, oh, let me know what is your price, what is your specialization. And then I almost did my research and let me know. Should I go with you? Why? Why should I? That's the stage. And the
Mm-hmm.
sales people are struggling to manage those sales people from your experience. What sales managers should be to make sales people effective, goal oriented, or target oriented, and then become more humans, be able to
Mm-hmm.
manage that demanding customers of this age. Yeah, being a sales manager, what should be the characteristics and skills or the functionality, whatever you call? Yeah.
Uh, I think that starts right at the beginning with hiring. There are
Yeah,
there are two schools of thought on this.
absolute. Yeah.
In the call center world, um, I think most of my colleagues and people that I talk to are in school number one. They don't
Hmm.
really care about the salesperson. I hate to say it. They consider their firms revolving doors.
Okay.
So I've gotten into discussions with them, and they say, "What does it matter, Joe? The math works. If I hire 20 and two survive, at least two survive." And I
Hmm.
never thought that way in my life.
Law of
Minus the
proportion, law
What's
of
that?
proportions, numbers, the law of
Yes,
proportionate numbers. That's what they
yeah,
think.
and they don't understand that it really costs more money to do that, like on the phone and hire a bunch
Hmm.
of people. My model is in reverse, right? I'll interview 20 and hire two.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Two good salespeople can outproduce 100 bad salespeople. And I've seen it over and over and over in my colleagues' operations. So that's the first thing. I do completely opposite of what is
Hmm.
taught in that industry. Okay.
Hmm.
Then on these two salespeople, I really spend a lot of training time and developing and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
Of course, there's technique, you know.
Hmm.
It's open-ended questions, closed-ended questions. I think the tie-ins are important.
Hmm.
How do you feel about this? Doesn't that make sense? I can really appreciate that. The empathy statements and the tie-ins are very, very important because you got to let people know that they're not talking to an AI robot on the phone.
Hmm.
How crazy. I think AI is going to put an end to feeder call centers, and we can maybe get into that in a little bit. Not the closer
Hmm.
call centers. AI will never
Yeah.
be a good call.
Yeah.
But the feeder centers are going to disappear, and they have been disappearing.
Hmm.
But I'll teach them techniques, and then I'll set them up with a spreadsheet that has objections and rebuttals. And typically, most call center managers have seven or eight. I have like 20 different rebuttals for each
Hmm.
objection because I want their personality to take over and use the rebuttal that they want and the rebuttal that makes sense for that conversation. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
so anti cookie cutter and more customization like you are with your coaching
Yeah.
stuff that you're doing. You care about people. You dig in there and you customize stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry for going on a rant, but there's
Yeah.
just
That's
too
okay.
much cookie cutter. That's too much cookie cutter out there, and I don't
Yeah.
like it. And I'm just hoping and praying that everything will change.
Yeah.
So there's technique, there's closing questions that we went over on the PSS segment, and everything. Let me know why you're not proceeding today. Look, just let's talk. We may
Hmm.
never talk again. I'm in a position probably to help you, but Mr. Prospect, if if this isn't for you, if we both come to a conclusion, not me, but if we both come to a conclusion that this isn't for you, I'm not doing it for the money. I'll bid you goodbye and wish you good luck for the rest of your life and give you my phone number if you ever want to talk. You
Yeah.
know, not about the
Yeah.
money because Mr. Prospect, what favor am I doing you to try to jam my product down your throat and
Hmm.
manipulate you like every other salesman out there? What are you going to do tomorrow? You're going to cancel the deal. How
Hmm.
does that help me feed my family? How does that help you with all the time that you wasted on this call? I want this to be a win-win. I just, I don't, I didn't make it up. These are just things that are coming to my head. These are just logical things that you should
Yeah.
be telling the prospects. So,
Awesome. Awesome. So, as a team manager, the hiring process is critical, training is
uh-huh.
critical, training on the core areas of sales without
Hmm.
them to push on the product, rather asking the questions, creating a win-win conversations for the salesperson and the prospect in favor of the prospect, keeping the prospect in the center of the conversation, and the best interest of the prospects are the heart of the conversation. That's what
Yes.
you mentioned. Absolutely fine. And then, uh, what are the call centers world is? What exactly is the call center world? And what kind of call centers are running? What kind of industries are running the call centers? And then how sales people in the call centers in India, if you look at here, real estate companies take the call centers, insurance companies take the call centers, and then
Hmm.
US based health call centers. So say, for example, they run see, my one of my neighbors just next to this room, there is another flat. One of my neighbors, he works for a call center company that manages, processes the insurance, health insurance in the US
Hmm.
hospitals. He works in the night time and then reaches home early in the mornings. So all these
Hmm.
call centers, I heard that in India and the Philippines, people are managing call centers. So now, what are the industries that are running call
Well,
centers, and what
go
are the
ahead.
what how they are recruiting the people, what kind of people they are recruiting, how that has been changing for the past 10 years. Right now, what is happening? The entire show me the entire world of call center now.
Well, the call centers will place an ad like on Facebook, or they'll go to a key influencer, which I have two or three on my team, and ask them for people. There's several ways that they recruit, but then again, they're into recruiting the masses so they can fire the masses. This is like really crazy. You had
Hmm.
mentioned on the Indian call centers, the insurance, the real estate. Both
Hmm.
of those are B2C campaigns, business to consumers. So I think we should pause here and talk a little bit about TCPA. This
Hmm.
is a natural entry into that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't even know what TCPA stands for. I did last year, but it's a set of laws that the US passed that
Hmm.
encourages professional litigators, people that sue, okay,
Hmm.
to get apps, get lawyers, and act as a prospect or even call in to try to
Hmm.
entrap that rep on tape on the phone. Okay.
Oh.
So the call center could have done everything right. They could have gotten their data, DNC list, blacklist, scrubbed. What TCPA says, if you call somebody that didn't opt in to that call. Well, what's an opt-in? There's a lot of ways. There's a pay-per-click could be an opt-in. They could have a website that has several products, okay? And then, but they have to opt in into the correct product. So if you have a website that has product number one, two, and three, they have to opt in the product one and have it traceable back, or else you're in, and I'm not a lawyer, please, if I don't get this exact, but
Mm,
if you don't opt in, then you are subject for a lawsuit. And when they fine you here in America, it's
mm.
$10,000,
Oh,
$50,000.
what are the product actual cost range?
What's that?
What is the product actual cost ranges
The cost ranges?
of the
Um,
product actual product?
Usually they're small ticket.
Ah,
Usually,
but
it's
they
not
enter
the.
for a small ticket product. People can enter as a customer and then try to trap the salesperson and then sue on the call center for $10,000.
I know at least 11 call centers that have gone out of business in the last 6 months over here because of that. They've gone bankrupt.
Oh my God.
So, what's the answer? B2B. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm ever going to do another B2C again.
Mm.
And if you look under my post at Strategy Joe, I'm not trying to plug
Yeah.
anything, but I have a tremendous opportunity on the B2C side. See, the to make okay, so when I put that team together at Prudential like 25 years ago, I thought to myself, this is crazy. This is
Mm.
complicated. But
Mm.
I was wrong. The call
Mm.
center business is the most complicated business that I've ever been in. It's like
Mm.
putting together a fine Swiss watch, and all the cogs need to, because where do you get your data? How much does it cost? How good is it? How often do you scrub it? Okay.
Mm.
Then there's the personnel issues, teamwork. Maybe we'll get into this later. You can't let gossipers or troublemakers or drama people in because they ruin the
Mm.
whole bunch.
Mm.
You just
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
cut that out like a cancer. So there's the team, there's the payroll, what to pay, there's the reimbursements from the buyers. Some of these buyers that I dealt with were reimbursing 30 to 45 days later. Who's got 30 to ? 45 days to wait for your money?
Mm.
So I tended to go to the shorter, 2 to 3 week reimbursements. Like we did a lot of FE
Mm.
because on the med sub side, before TCPA, it was good. When TCPA came out, the med sub side sort of died off. So I converted, I had 40 reps. So I converted them to FE, final expense, you know. And we were slow at first, but I was running an SPH, sales per hour, like about 1.2, 1.3 on the med sub side. And then when we switched to FE, it dropped down to 0.40, but in 3 weeks I got it up to 1.5. So they say I
Mm.
was in the Philippines the best transfer agent. So we
Mm.
were charging 30 30 to 35 bucks a lead for a live transfer,
Mm.
but I could have like charged a little more. Not that I ever wanted to gouge anybody, but the problem is
Mm.
that industry is rife with the middleman. See,
Mm.
like to
Mm.
get a buyer, you needed to go through the middleman, and the
Right.
middleman keeps a ten
Takes
dollar
off.
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you see all the complications that you have,
Mm.
but
So
I
many
guess I got,
layers to one particular
oh,
business to provide the
yes,
product or service and then get the money. People
yes.
involved in from different continents or different countries at different levels, having different personalities, going through different styles of using the overall business management and communication methodology. it's, it's a web of things.
Absolutely crazy, but it fit my personality because I don't like to lose. So I had to find, I spend 2 hours every night playing chess.com because I don't like to lose. I just, I want to find solutions and I want to win, not to stroke my ego, but just to
Hmm.
stimulate my brain. But best of all, to offer a solution that maybe didn't exist that
Hmm.
can change the life of
Yeah.
someone else. And in the Philippines, I made a lot of friends. When I first got into the call center business, I inherited a bunch of people that were kind people, honest people, family people, and so on.
Hmm.
But they were reading off a script. So I had to turn that around to my method, I guess, and
Hmm.
which at first I was mocked, I was
Hmm.
attacked, and so, but I made it through. I didn't take it personally. So I made it through, and then there's much love that comes from the Philippines. Like, if I don't like to tell people my birthday, but some know it, and they throw me parties over,
Yeah.
because a lot of their lives have changed. And then I paid my people well, right? Most of these
Okay.
call
Okay.
centers like to just keep most of the money and pay the callers $3 an hour. That's insane.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
abuse. Okay. Mine would make $4 to $5 an hour plus bonuses. I would
Okay.
keep less money than they would.
Hmm.
And that's just the right thing to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
It
Hmm.
really is.
So right now in your current projects, so you mentioned that call centers, there are real estate and insurance which are B2C, but the TCPA is come up with a new opportunity for those people who can actually ban the companies. And I am so sorry to hear the 11 call centers closed their
11 call center and
business.
more. And
That's
there's
not,
going to be a lot
and there
more.
may be
You
more.
had
There may be more. So
you
that's not
you had go ahead.
a simple thing. There are so many families behind it. Now, let me finalize with this one question so that let me know what is your current project right now that you are doing, and how people can involve, if they are salespeople, how they can associate with you, or if they are looking at an expert like you, how they can associate with what kind of companies or the campaigns that you wanted to work with. Is there anything that you would like to share and invite people?
Oh, sure. I mean, if you publish my link and everything, I just posted yesterday a very detailed description. Or actually, I think it was early this morning,
I will,
but
I will,
anyways,
I will
I
publish. Yeah, I
I
went
I,
through
I
that
lose
post.
I I appreciate that. I lose track of time. Um
Yeah,
so um so what and then you had mentioned that you had a friend that was doing health insurance to hospitals and that type of thing. Well, that's B2C,
yeah.
you know.
He's
His
working
job
for
is
a
safe.
company. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it is. I'd rather be doing that job, right?
yeah.
So in the B2C world, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you could try for the high ticket
Mm-hmm.
for the large producing high revenue company. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that, as I see it, or the challenge is never a problem, it's just a challenge, is getting to the gatekeeper.
Mm.
So how many calls do you waste? What's your time worth? Of getting to the gatekeeper, even using all the techniques that you're going to use. How long and how much money does that cost?
Not
And then
traceable.
yeah, I mean, and the payoff, is it really worth it? So I
Mm.
tend to stay where the B, the second B, is a not necessarily a small ticket by design, but people that I have to get to without going to the gatekeeper. Yeah, all
Mm.
these sales gurus will teach you all these methods to get past the gatekeeper, and I'm familiar with almost all of them. Heck, when I was selling insurance to big businesses, I would come in with an old Morgan silver dollar, and the gatekeeper would be up front. And then I would say, you know, can I talk to Mr. Jones? Oh, no, you can. He's busy, so on and so forth. I'd take that silver dollar. It cost back then like $9 a piece. That was my lead cost, right? And
Mm.
I say, listen, can you give this to Mr. Jones? Whoa, it's a silver dollar. Yeah, I like for him to have it because even if we talk or not, I know you guys run a good business and I'm very appreciative of what you do. Like 99% of the time, Mr. Jones would then walk out with that silver dollar with his eyes this big, and then I captured him as an audience. You have to be creative. But nowadays, I'd rather just skip the gatekeepers and deal with nail salons, people that mow yards, the small plumber, the electrician, companies like that, because there is no gatekeeper. They're
Small
usually a one man
businesses.
or yeah,
Small
one man or
businesses
one
is
woman
almost
show.
like a
Yeah.
solopreneur's journey.
Yeah, yeah. Like this campaign that I'm recruiting for now, it
Mm.
is commission only, okay. But I pay very well. $35 for each sale. And you know what? There's about 10 call centers in the Philippines that are already doing this successfully. The smallest group, the ones that are, say, there's always a totem pole, right? So the ones at the very bottom that are struggling or
Mm.
everything, they're doing about 30 sales a month. The mid-range person is doing 50 to 70 sales, and then the top producers are doing 100 sales. Well, how much, you know, if you're making $3,500 a month, think about Philippines. You
Mm.
can buy a mansion. You know what I'm saying? So that's why
Mm.
I'm really excited about this. The
So
and I
you
and I'll
you
get
are
into the
recruiting people, these call center sales people who can dial and then make calls, and they are expected to call US clients or across the
Yes, they
world.
are. Yes, they are. So remember the complex formula. There's
Hmm.
how much do the leads cost? Well, I've discovered a way that the leads are free. And we do
Yeah.
that through data mining. Okay.
Yeah.
And I can
Yeah.
show everybody how to do that.
Hmm.
Secondly, um, I met a young lady the other day that's going to come on board, and she goes, Joe, well, this data mining, because I said, listen, I've been going, it's the product is small business directories, right? And I'll get into that in a second. But I was going to Yelp, maybe Thumbtack or whatever, copy paste, and then I'm creating my own Google Sheet with a notes section that then I transfer. And he goes, she says, yeah, that's old school. She says, here's what you do. You get on ChatGPT and you put an asterisk and you issue this command. And then once you get this command, you put it at, and I'm like, whoa, my head is spinning. You got to realize that I didn't grow up in your generation. Can you do that for me? So
Yeah.
now she's going to generate tens of thousands of leads for us through this chat GPT model.
GPT.
So now I get the leads free.
Hmm.
Big, big deal. Big plus, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing is a dialer,
Hmm.
because if you're in the Philippines or India or anywhere else that's not the United States, you need a dialer. Well,
Hmm.
the dialers cost anywhere from $35 to over $150 a month, and I've used 4 or 5 dialers in my career.
Hmm.
So
So
also
these
today,
dialers are the online platforms, or the dialer itself is a special equipment with heads for.
both. So you need a headset to operate the online dialer. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I recently found out that if it works, crossing fingers, I don't even need a dialer. We can do it a lot through Google Voice. You
Ah.
know,
Okay.
that yeah. There's I'm working out the
Workaround.
details. Yeah, I'm working out the details on that. But I should have that finished soon. So now I'm aiming for free dialer. So what do I have so far? Free dialer, free leads. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. That solves a lot of the equation. So to explain the product, um, let us both go to the mindset of the business owner that we're selling to,
Hmm.
because that's another good quality of a good salesperson.
Yeah.
He or she puts themselves in the perspective of the person that's buying the product. Because if you stay in your perspective, I don't think you'll succeed long term. But if you stay in the perspective of the receiver of the message, you're going to
Hmm.
succeed wildly. So let's both pretend we're not going to role play or anything unless you want to. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, let's say that we're in
That is
the
the core of the entire activity to be successful, to
yes,
become the other, getting into the shoes of the other person who is actually trying to get. People talk about their sales process and then steps in the sales process. Gurus also teach the sales process. What they
right.
need to understand is this sales process should match the steps of the buying cycle, buying process of the buyer. And then the
Yes.
language that we use should match the buyer's language. That is
Yes.
core. Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. Let's suppose we're, getting into that perspective, getting into that mood. We have a lawnmower business. We go out and mow people's lawns. Okay.
Mm.
So let's say I'm the guy. I started up with a lawnmower and a weed whacker. And then I started doing my friends and family's yards, and that led to some referrals, and then referrals gave referrals. And I'm making money, but I'm not making enough money to cover
Not
my bills.
consistently. Yeah.
Yeah, not consistently, and so on and so forth. So then a person like me calls to
Learn
pitch
more.
that person. Yeah, and then I find out first a lot about their business and what their goals are. And this is a global directory product. It's similar to Yelp, it's similar to Thumbtack. We give them a free listing. Okay.
Mm.
And
Mm.
then what we try to do is upgrade that listing for $99 a month. Or
Mm.
if they pay for 6 months, $299. If they
Mm.
pay for a year, $399. I guess it's getting into the bigger tickets. If they pay in a bit,
Mm. Mm.
if they
Yeah. Yeah.
pay in a
Some people
399.
will move to Ascension offer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if they
Some
got the
people will be
money,
happy to pay 399 instead
and
of
yes,
waiting for
most
the
people,
leads to come, waiting for the referrals to come, waiting for the
yes.
one successful client to give referrals to somebody else, and then my
Mhm.
bills will come every month. They will be happy to pay 399.
Oh yeah, some will, and then we compensate the reps higher for the 299, and then higher. I forget the
Yeah,
numbers for
accordingly.
the 399, but at 399 everybody wins because they save like 7 months of the
Mm.
99. So if they pay,
Yeah.
and the cool thing is no contract, so
Yeah.
people don't have to feel pressured in trying
Yeah.
it out.
That's true.
And also, they can cancel within the first month to get a refund. So my message is, what do you have to lose? So here's what they get. And I'm probably forgetting a feature or two, but we move their listing, and the tech department that I work with gets them to the highest listings on Google, Bing, Yellow Pages, and everything
Okay.
else. It gives them a lot more
So
visibility.
SEO kind of stuff will be done.
Oh yeah. And then we give them a free 4-page website within our directory. So if they
Mm.
don't have a website, now they do. They can point people to our
Mm.
directory. Their
Mm.
Google reviews, okay, will transfer to that directory. So there's
Mm.
a lot of, you know, you, there's a lot of 5 stars in
Mm.
that
Mm.
equation. Okay. Then we put them with 3,000 mobile locations that are meant for iPad and Android, like White Pages, and I forget all of them, but
Mm.
places like that. So we got the mobile thing covered. We give them 6 categories. So if it's a maid service and it's house cleaning, it could be commercial cleaning, it could be apartment cleaning, and so on and so forth. We give them unlimited keywords, and
Mm.
God, there's so many benefits that I have to do my research. We give them a click to call feature on the
Mhm.
directory. So if somebody finds the name, they just click it, and then it goes live transfer to the business owner, and that's
Okay.
that's huge. And then there's a lot of things that would take a lot of time, but see, that's just the first program. I've got after that. See, what I want our reps to do is not build a business for me, build a business for them.
Mm.
So if they stay in touch, it's not like the typical call center. Hey, thank you, bye. Now what's the next guy? They can
Mm-hmm.
call that same customer. And the second program, and we can cover this at another time, whatever, is actually I can supply them with a teledoc and a reduced dental cost insurance program, plus a lot of memberships,
Mm.
for $29 a month. But I
Additional
don't like to
value.
cover, yeah, I don't like to cover too many things on the first call. I want them to be successful with the first project, and then
Yeah.
we can call these people
Once
back.
they are happy and then things are moving, you
Yes,
can bring additional value into it.
yes, and then what you see, what I'm doing is I'm having the reps build their own business for themselves. You
Exactly.
know,
The
where,
best
where
they
they can
can.
have an annuity, where they see
Yeah.
see on the second program, they can make say $10 a sale, right? Doesn't sound like a
Mm,
lot,
mm.
but like it's an annuity. So the next month, when the first month renews, they make another $10. They didn't
Yeah.
have to call that person back. And the
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
month, they make
Yeah.
another $10. So let's say they sold 10 the first month, which is ridiculously low. It's
If they
probably going
can
to be like
call and
50.
then have a relationship with the person, that's really fine. That actually encourages the person to be on board for a long time.
Exactly.
But
So on
actually,
that,
essentially, without any calling, also they can get annuity income, continuous
yeah,
income.
well, they can get annuity income on the second program. So let's do a math. So we got 10 the first month. So they called the second month, they get a new 10. So now they made $100 plus the next $100, 200. And the third month they made 300. And in the fourth month they made 400. And if they
Yeah.
take a vacation in the fifth month, they still made 400. You
Yeah.
see? And
Yeah.
this can develop into the thousands of dollars. And
Mm.
you know what? Maybe you can help me recruit, you know.
Yeah.
Offline, I want to share because I really do believe in
We
these
will
two
discuss.
programs. We've got merchant programs. I think B to B is really the way to go. And I know I've said it so much, so I'll try not to say it again. But anyways, I'm really passionate about it for all the reasons that I've explained to you.
Yeah, awesome. This is really a wonderful new modality of these things. Basically, this work, the project that you are taking, recruiting the sales people, call center sales reps who can be on phone and then call US based small business owners, right? And
Hmm.
then get them onboarded for the list of services that they can get as part of their marketing. They will be
Yep.
listed on so many places online. They will be listed, they will be given leads. And then the, behalf of their business, if there are any leads come to the call center, also they get the leads and then we will send it to them.
If uh, uh, Please state the question again. That
Say for
I
example,
was a little confused.
a, say for example, there is a service provider like lawn mowing.
Right, right.
So that person onboarded as a client for us on our
Yes,
call center. So
yes.
this client will have a website on our platform, Google reviews, and then search engine optimization, rankings, all that stuff. And
Hmm.
every month they pay $99. And if they pay 1 year, 399 or 499, whatever. And
Yes.
that particular clients will get the calls, directly calls. There is enablement of if they see somebody, they can call them directly.
Hmm.
Otherwise, also, we will send them any particular leads, number of leads.
Do we
Or
send a number of leads? Well, they if they go on the site and they do click the call, then yes, it's a direct transfer of leads. But the leads actually call them. They have a call. I forgot they have a call tracking device, so they can see where their business is coming from,
hmm,
what search engine and everything that we've improved. So actually, it's direct to the customer.
okay.
So
So,
they're used to, well, not they're used because they're small businesses, but medium-sized businesses and large businesses are hooked on the PPC model, pay-per-click.
Yeah,
So the
yeah, yeah. I
clicks,
was about to
uh,
ask that. If the same person wants to get the leads other than the offer that we are giving to them, they need
mhm.
to active in the social media, they need to create their
No,
own
yeah.
content, they need to do so many things. So instead they move to us. That may be a little bit costly and then a time taking activity. When they onboard with us in our project, in our program, we offer him a guaranteed number of leads or minimum number of things, and then we will help him improve his visibility and then get the leads, more leads in a easy manner, right? And then this
E-
particular product is proven and then already existing and operating, right?
Well, for 14 years. That's the
Yeah,
other reason I
that's
liked it.
the
See,
important.
oh yeah, because especially from my friends in the Philippines, hey Joe, can you find us something permanent? And I said, I can't promise you because I never like to promise anything. I can't, you know, but and I still can't promise. I mean, everything has to be sales derived, but there are a handful of call centers that have been doing this already for a couple of years. So it's not a theory, okay?
Mm,
It
yeah,
is it is proven.
it is
It
already
is a
proven
proven
process.
results.
And if you
Yes.
wanted to plug in, you can plug in and play. And
Yes.
while playing, you can become your own solopreneurship into action and then
Yes.
write your own check. That's the
And
opportunity for the salespeople.
yes, and because PPCs are anywhere from $4 to $7 now. That reminds me. Let me get a
Mm,
shout out to Kathy Sisk. She says
okay.
she knows of you. I don't know if you've interacted with Kathy. Kathy wrote a book on Amazon because
Okay.
McGraw-Hill approached her, and she's
Yeah.
the queen of call centers. She's been in it 40 years, you know. And I found these programs through Kathy, actually. Now,
Awesome.
Kathy's group, and this is it keeps on getting better and better.
Kudos to
Kathy's
Kathy.
group, yes, kudos to
Kudos to
Kathy. She's an
Kathy.
excellent woman, um, uh, excellent colleague. So she has had success with these programs, but she's also contracted as a trainer. Okay.
Mm,
So I do a lot of training, me and Kathy both, but she does the bulk of the training and she's had experience in this, and it doesn't cost, um, the call center anything for this
mm,
training. The
yeah.
tra so let's look at it. So you got a good lead situation, you got good personnel. You got Kathy doing the training, and you got a high commission payout. The
Yeah.
the biggest challenge that I need to overcome is that I don't know about India. I know a little bit, but in the Philippines, everybody's looking for that. Hey, can you get me that $3 to $4 an hour job? I said, well,
Okay.
I can try. It doesn't matter.
Selling the time rather than the outcome.
Right. I said I could try, and I don't want to make any money off you guys, and I'll let you know. And I have, and I posted stuff whenever I found it and all that kind of
Got it.
stuff. But you'll never build wealth that way, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly,
And
exactly.
these people are good
Sometimes
people.
not even survive. Forget about the wealth
Yeah,
building. If the things are
yeah,
wrong, most competitive people will be in the survival mode and they will get the at least survival. And these people who are selling time will struggle. That's the bad
yeah.
thing.
And then a deal goes 3 months and it collapses, and then you waste a month looking for another job. So what I tell
Got
them
it.
is don't leave your day job. Do this
Hmm.
on the side. By the way, whoever is interested in this, there are no quotas or anything. I'm really easygoing. Okay.
Yeah,
They want to work at 3 hours one day and skip a day and work at 3 hours the next day, so long as
it's up
it's
to them.
business hours. So be it. It's up to them. They're developing their own list and everything. The pay is pretty quick. It's
Yeah.
they can
So
do
is it
whatever
a
they
weekly
want.
pay or monthly pay?
Bi-weekly, twice a month.
Bi-weekly. Awesome, awesome. So
It's
guys,
it's
those who are watching this video, please understand this. Unlimited number of leads, and then a proven product with 14 years industry, and then 40 years experience. Kathy is training the team, and Joe with 50 years of sales experience training the team. And you will be plug in as a salesperson, but still you can actually sell the number of hours that you wanted to sell, talking to the US customers, it is B2B customers, changing the life of business owners while contributing to their end customers. And at the same time, not only just one time sale, you get the commission. The same sale that you made this month, you can get next month, another 3 to 6 months, and as long as you can actually take little time to have a good communication with that business owner. That means if you sell a if you sell a insurance product, you may get commission next year. But here, if
Hmm.
you sell this product, you get recurring commission next month onwards. That means
Well, on the second
huge
product, in the
opportunity.
second, yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge opportunity. So all those sales people around the world who really wanted to make calls to the business owners and change their life, and if it is in your heart and in your free time, and then you can make it as a professional full-time opportunity later. But if you wanted to get plug in and then play with the proven team with the experienced professionals, please connect with Joe. I will leave the Joe's details in the comments, in the comments section here, how you can
Thank you.
contact with Joe, and that will be really helpful. So, Joe, how do you feel about this? And you want any final remarks? You wanted to share something?
Oh, wow. We could talk for days, right? But on a final remark, it would be that we met through the high ticket remote closing world. Okay. So
Yeah,
a lot of the advertisements out there is, you can make 8,000 to 10,000 a month as an appointment setter, as a closer. You can make 20,000 a month and so on and so forth. And I don't doubt that some people do. But I looked into it, and it's exactly that. Some people. So I want to be kind in the words that I pick. I think a lot of the advertising out there has been a little misleading. And at
yeah,
least in my opinion, only probably, which will be an unpopular opinion, is that 90% of these folks want for you to enroll in a university and training courses, and they want you to pay them to learn stuff that a lot of this stuff is free on YouTube.
that's
So this isn't anything new. This happened in the 70s, 80s, all the way through.
yeah,
They waved the flashy little toy.
yeah.
Look at him. He's making 20,000 a month. God
A
knows why.
marketing bait to your inner self, your dreams, your pain points, and then grabbing the money to get you in a dream world where you have all the freedom, and that fellow who is teaching doesn't have any freedom, that I know.
Exactly. It's the quickie way out, right? It is the quickie way to get what you want. A lot of the MLM companies are doing it. If you want to be wealthy, it's a slow process because even if you're involved in a good high ticket deal, how long does it last? I see these things blow up all the time. You're
Yeah,
a good coach. I
yeah,
mean, look, if everybody went to you for advice and training and everything, you change the world and the whole community, right? And I'm not just saying this because we like each other, we're friends, and that
yeah,
type of thing. But to enroll in a course that everything is canned and it's been around for 50 years, and they just slant it and twist it a little bit differently, and then on top of that, you got to pay. You know, one of the biggest ones out there is this water ionization thing. Look, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be critical, but there's so many levels. It's an MLM. The machine
yeah,
is too expensive. So if you look at these deals, it's like the boss always wins. The guy
yeah,
above you always
yeah,
wins. How about
The
you
first
take
few
control?
layers will, first few layers win.
Yes. Why don't you take control of your destiny as a salesperson and
Yeah,
listen to people like Chandra and his advice? Go to YouTube's, you know what? You don't need those guys.
exactly.
Okay. And then open up a phone book and start calling business owners that you think would be a good prospect for you to be appointment setters. And guess
Yeah,
what? Indeed, Career Builder, Zip Recruiter have more decent and sustainable and sometimes paying an hourly and commission for
yeah,
larger tickets and that you can earn 70 to $120,000 a year.
yeah.
Okay. You really, I mean, you don't have to snap at these offers, get
Mm,
discouraged, and then blow out of the business, especially if you had sales aptitude and your destiny was to be in sales and a master of sales, you know?
yeah,
And that's the last thought that I wanted to share with you. You asked me one
yeah.
more. I think I wanted to get that across, you know?
Exactly, exactly. So, so many um, career builders in the name of career building, in the name of business helping, and then coaching, and then sales training. What they are doing, as you said, twisting the all old wine in the new bottle and then trying to sell for so many dollars when the actual basic content fundamentals are, even though in the era of AI, are simple principle. To build a business, I always say even to my clients, if even if you pay me 10 times, 20 times more, I cannot build your business in 3 months. I know that it will at least take 1 year to test and
Yeah.
understand how it is happening. That means
Yeah.
you will pay me money to understand how it is happening. Then I will come up with ideas how to build it. So
Yes.
this is the reality, which looks like I am bluffing and experimenting on your money. In fact, it's a
Yes.
gestation period. It's a gestation period, just like a child in the womb for 9 months and then comes out. It's
Right.
time to build your business. So if you are in the sales, as Joe rightly said, don't get entrapped into the highly marketed baits, and instead you focus on your skills, take action with the real people, and then maybe with this call center offers, with the proven offers, you can just try out with your offline timings while you continuing your other jobs, and then get into the real business. Thank you very
Right
much
on.
for watching. Thank you, Joe, really for your valuable time.
Thank you.
This is just like a call center world training. It is just like a sales training. And I really appreciate your time. I am really humbled and blessed for your time. Thank you so much. Have a great day.